Hello and welcome to this next video in my series where today I'll be battling against Jade rated 1300, and like I said, I will post all my good moves, bad moves, whatever it is, and we'll be going through all these advanced 1500 to 2100 and masters 2200, 2400, 2300. I don't know if I've beaten anybody 2400, but we'll be giving it a go going through all these here. So on that, today at lunch, while I was heating up my food, I played against Jade, and I'm going to show that move. It was a 44 move game that ended in this. I played the white pieces. I did make a blunder and some mistakes in this game, and I'm going to show you those, and hopefully I can learn from them and you can learn from them, and that's the best way for everybody to learn. So I did make some blunders in this game, but let's go through. The computer says I performed at 83%. Computer definitely knows better than I do, but there are some ideas that I had in my head that maybe the computer didn't quite know what I was up to, and maybe that was a bad idea, but we'll see what happens here. So I start with e4. Okay, and you can see the little book icon, which means this is just a textbook opening. There's nothing real creative about it. It's been done before. Just remember in the beginning, just try to control the center and develop your pieces, and get your pieces out there. This is an absolute pin on the king, so that's what I went for. I thought about doing some other things. I even thought about doing this as the computer suggested, but that's what I went for. Don't be afraid to try new things. Here, the bad news for him is there's doubled up pawns. Try to avoid double up pawns. There are some theories I can get into later that they're not necessarily terrible, but usually it does hurt your if you have double up pawns. Okay, so let's keep this going. I castled, and the queen comes out. I was afraid the queen was going to come all the way to here and start to threaten this, which would prevent me from getting out my bishop. But it did not. So just trying to get some stuff. I thought about coming out here, this rook, to open that up so that I would own this file, and computer says that would have been the better move, but just do whatever you feel comfortable with. Especially 1300 is a respectable yellow, but it is enough that you can have some fun with and try some new things. You should do that anyway. So I did think about coming back down here, but I really liked the pressure here, and with me having a pawn here and owning this and this, in my mind I felt a little safe to go ahead and just still keep owning that diagonal and put that bishop back a little bit. Okay, so now this is under attack, which isn't the end of the world. There's some ideas to follow behind that, but I don't have a defender for that. But okay, so here's the computer says I made a inaccuracy. Actually, it's a mistake. I thought about taking this, but I really didn't like the idea of this pawn being attacked, so I had it to where it was defended by this pawn, and yep. And so now, here it comes, this movement here. Computer says that Jade made a mistake on this move. Okay, and should have kept working this pawn down. So I was hoping that this pawn would take here, and then not only would they have a doubled up pawn, but it'd have isolated pawn. So there's no defenders of the pawn, and that weakens up. And so that's what I usually try to get my opponent to do, is weaken their pawn structure. And that's what I was going for here with this. Okay. And instead does attack, which is a pretty good attack on my bishop. And I probably should have moved the bishop out of the way in hindsight, but I wanted to attack this knight, it was defended with this pawn, center pawn. But I really like my pawn structure here. Nice center. They're all defending each other. So anyway, I chose to attack the queen. And now I have a rook under attack. So kind of got myself in a little bit of hot water here. Got my rook under attack. Bishop's under attack. So this is kind of where I made some mistakes. But let's see what we can do to get out of trouble here. So this move here allows this knight to be developed, and it defends this with the queen. So let's see here. Okay, and I finally lose my piece there. This pawn is not defended. The computer says that is a mistake to take that bishop. Yeah, it could have got some stuff going here and done some threats, but I don't know. I probably would have done the same. But now this, I totally missed this. Gee whiz, you know, look, the best move definitely would have been to putting the rook here, because I would have picked up a free bishop. But instead, I took a pawn. So let's play that out. So let's see, takes, and then in the game I took this pawn. But if I would have went here, let's see what Jade does. Then, you know, Jade's going to have to probably, you know, get out of the way. Probably going to do something like this, and then I pick up the free bishop. That was the reason why that was definitely the best move. I completely missed it. The computer said it was a mistake, and that was rightfully so. So getting back to the game. Now there's the mistake I made. Queenside castle. I wanted to get some defense other than the queen on that knight, and that's what that does. That protects that. So let's keep this going. Okay, so again, I made a mistake with this. This little area down here has been, I've made one mistake after another with this area. Gee whiz. Okay, so I went here thinking just to trade out these queens. Boom, boom, or I could take with the knight. What I should have done was come here. Again, the knight or the queen's probably gonna get out of the way. Then I can at least start getting something lined up. You know, if retakes. Now, at least then now, in this situation, I own this file. So that's clearly what I should have done. But let's get back to the game. Okay. So I retake. I thought about retaking with the knight. Again, it's just what you feel comfortable with. I'll try to keep this going here. I'll try to make these videos quick. One of my earlier videos that lasted over 20 minutes, but we did cover a lot of great things. Just working my way up. I do notice that I'm up a couple pawns, so I don't mind trading out pieces. I know that bishop was blocked in, but at the end game, those bishops are trouble. I'll gladly trade it for a knight. Sometimes knights are better if there's a lot of pawns on the board, which in this case there are, so this could be argued. But again, whatever you feel comfortable with, don't be afraid to experiment. Now I want to get these rooks lined up. This is kind of important. One piece by itself can't do much. You need the aid of another piece, and so that's what you should try to be thinking about here. So okay, and they've got the dark squared bishop, but that dark squared bishop is going to have to come down, you know, in these areas to start really attacking. It's pretty well defended. You can't attack from the top, so the computer should, or Jade should, the computer bot should be trying to get down here. Okay, and yeah, that was just a total blunder. And I thought about taking, but I've got other ideas about developing this side. I like this pawn structure, and I didn't want to mess it up. So that's why I used my pawn instead of my knight. Okay, so now I finally got Rook's lined up. And there's a free pawn. This could be argued a couple different ways on how to do it. If I take, rook takes back, take back, and then there's king takes. You know, I was just, this king, I've got to get this king out of trouble. This is my weak spot right now. And Jade knows it, and she's trying to attack it, because if it can get a rook down here somewhere, it's mate. Right now I don't have anything to defend with. So I did think about doing that, but I want to get something going on this side. I'm up pawn. I wouldn't hesitate to trade out pieces and then promote a pawn. Here I was trying to get my king into the center of the board. Sometimes in the end game, people just hide their king away and they need to get it out and use it. You know, just stay off the green squares, and you're not going to get brought into check. Okay, so attack, and now that I just said I was bringing my king to the center, I realized actually I do want to attack this, and I'm going to use my king to do it. So my idea was to come here and then up here and get rid of this pawn, and then now I've got these three pawns, and I'm going to promote one of them to a queen. That was my idea. So I did backtrack a little bit on my statement, and after I saw that, and tried to bring my king into play. But this rook is protected by this pawn, and I thought, well, if so I thought I was in good shape, and I know that when I had my king down here, I could be brought into check pretty easy, but I can get out of trouble pretty easily. Okay, so now I bring my knight into the game. Remember, using your pieces together. Using your pieces together. Don't forget that. Okay, so there's that. There's check. And now that the king is on this side, now it's time to be thinking about ideas of promoting this pawn, because this rook is protected by this knight, and this king cannot come and get this pawn. So here I go with my bright idea of promoting, and there's nothing much the computer can do. This is just a desperation act to stop me from queening. Okay, and I just ignore that. Let's go for the mate. Okay, so the computer says this is a mistake, but I mean, okay, it says I should take care of this problem, but I'm so close to checkmate. That's what I had in my sights, and so that's what happens here pretty quick. At this point, I just like to box in, keep building. Think about just building a smaller box for your king, and cut off those escape routes. And that's what we do here. And now it's mate. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. And you can go to chess.com and battle these same bots that I do. And yeah, hopefully that helps. And thank you very much, and have a great day.